Hi, hello everyone. I promised this video after I've had what over 100 messages regarding emojis on Facebook. That's why I mentioned it yesterday. It wasn't at any particular person. It was just something that's been questioned for quite a while. And the other thing is sexuality within shamanism, because that's a bit of a touchy subject, but I don't care. I'm more than happy to talk about it. First of all, yes, emojis. I mentioned yesterday that emojis, they tend to cause a lot of trouble in relationships and things like that, because in this part of the world, emojis which you get on Facebook is people don't really think much about it. They use the love, they use the kiss. Certain people will use it to do things which are not so nice, like predators. I've already put that, sexual predators. But then there's also the innocent side, people who make a comment about something and someone else likes the comment. It doesn't mean it's actually about the person. It's about the story that you're talking about. But unfortunately, a lot of that can create problems. Me being a shaman, it's kind of double jeopardy for me, because one, being a shaman, and two, my personality. I'm a real outgoing, touchy person. It's just me. It doesn't mean that it's something that's bad, but of course in one part of the world they would see it as an attraction. Another part of the world would see it as a complete put off, a no-no. And I'm always getting misunderstood. So when it comes to emojis, unfortunately it does, I've heard it's even killed marriages, because one person has portrayed it to be that it's an affair just because somebody has sent an emoji of love. Others have seen it as a possibility of affairs, or some have just downright will not accept it and believe it's something completely different, even though that they use it themselves. Now that's the strange thing. It's, in so many ways, it's a bit like somebody who's a compulsive liar. They believe in their own lies. They believe it 100%, and and everybody else know it's not true, but they believe it. So it's kind of like that, and I find that pretty sad, really. So for me, a simpler solution to emojis, really simple: don't send them. If you want to comment about something, of course it's up to you to comment on it, but by putting the wrong emoji could be read differently by a partner, a spouse, anything, or even a child. It can be completely read wrong. So I always say to people, if you're going to send emojis, then send them in the private conversation. Again, it still doesn't mean that you're doing something bad within a private conversation, but you need to question yourself why you would do it. The only reason I say this is I could say I don't give a damn. And in so many ways, I wouldn't give a damn, because I know I'm not doing nothing wrong. But in somebody else's eyes, they can portray it that way. So really, it's down to if you want to think about the other person, how they process it, or if you don't want to think about how they process it. Unfortunately, for some on the receiving end of me, is when it comes to emotion, I think a lot of time is wasted in emotion. If a person is convinced that you've sent an emoji to someone, and they're convinced that you're doing it on a personal level, and you can't change their mind, then you're wasting your time going down the emotion road. I know it's hard to say, but what can you do if you can't convince that person? So that's all I'm saying on emojis. Best solution is, if you want to speak to somebody from a point to reduce that emotion in somebody else's belief, send it in a private message. because if you're going to get accused of it, there's not much you can do. But if it affects both parties, it's just a shame, isn't it? Right, straight from there, we're going to go straight into shamanic sexuality. It's been asked by several shamans, my view on it from around the world, because they, it was a touchy subject over the period of COVID, whereby a lot of shamans were doing online chats, and of course, it could start turning into something else. And don't get me wrong, the shaman could like the person they're talking to, but from my personal experience, and I'm sure that all shamans will agree on me, it's very difficult for us because we're there to help someone, but we're human too. And unfortunately, in my case, females get really attracted to you. It doesn't mean that you're handsome or you're good looking. I don't see myself as that way because I'm non-materialistic or even give myself that attention. But females do get attracted to you, and if a shaman has partners, it creates a lot of unstableness. They feel uncomfortable and believe that, oh, well, if this person likes you and they're coming on to you, then you naturally like them back. Again, in some cases, I suppose that does happen. And I will agree that shamans have done bad things, taken advantage of a situation. But before we go any further, I'm just going to hit it on the head straight away. We all have this in our face. It's a mouth. Most of us shovel food down it, and others talk a lot of shit from it. And usually it's more shit than anything else. But, everyone, even if they're going for treatment, and even if they like the person, the shaman, or the shaman likes the person they're dealing with, you have a mouth. You can say yes or no. That's the simplest solution. Leave emotion out of it. If a female comes up to me, which I've had it hundreds of times, if they come up and they're showing that they want to connect to you and they give you the signals, eye contact, you know where I'm coming from, you're not stupid. But when you get these signals, you can say yes or no. And that applies if it's the other way around. If a shaman offers you something, whether it's sexual, whether it's getting together, whether it's even pictures, because I've had this situation. The point is, if you ask the question if they want that, all they have to do is say yes or no. If they say no, then you don't follow it up. It's as simple as that. But unfortunately, when you get a lot of people coming to you for treatment, it's also been said, well, you're in a position of trust and you're expected to do this and expected to do that. No, you're not expected to do anything. You're giving your time to help someone to evolve from a situation they're in. If they've been in a vulnerable situation, or it's bad emotions, which 9 times out of 10, that's why people come to see shamans, is because the mess they're in mentally, that ultimately they still have a choice to say yes or no. And I don't agree when someone says that they come to you, they're in a vulnerable position and they can be easily led. Don't agree with that at all. Absolutely not. Yes or no. The problem is when someone does come to you for the treatment and they get to that point that they want you, you can also have the other side of it. You can say no. And what happens is they can get actually offended by that because their expectation was, because you've been helping them, that you will help them with other things. And when you refuse that, you get accused as the person who's actually putting on them. They reverse it. It is a bit like reverse psychology. And in fact, a lot of them do it without even knowing it. So, as a shaman, we have to be so careful because you can get accused of just about anything because their mindset is different to yours, of course. You have to be aware of that. Unfortunately for me, is what I've said, I have double jeopardy because I'm an outgoing person and it gets misunderstood quite often. And I think the worst thing that anyone can say to someone is they're a liar when 100% sure you're not. It's the worst type of statement made towards another person. It's really damaging to the soul. It used to damage me, but it doesn't anymore. That's why I'm a shaman, because it doesn't matter what you say, you can't fix the other person if they don't want to be fixed. And if they believe in their heart that you are doing something, then it's either they are in the same position of somebody who is a compulsive liar, but the opposite side, or it's a form of bipolar. It's a situation where, unfortunately, the woman goes through it more than the male. I can agree that males would probably turn more to being a compulsive liar. This is an experience where the female comes to where their belief system is 100%, no matter what you say, you've done something wrong, and you haven't. It's an incredible strong feeling that's in the heart and mind that your everyday person struggles with to get through, to be accused of that. And why? Because they love them. And sometimes you have to move on from that because you have no choice. I've had it through a few relationships. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean I'm perfect. But what it does mean is what I've said. If you are offering something to someone, they have the choice to say yes or no. They don't need to go away and make a drama of it. Because one thing I am clear about, if I was to offer something to someone, I'll be honest and say it. But if I offer something, whether it's a picture, if I was to do that, if that person was to say no, they wouldn't get the picture. It doesn't mean you overstep it and over control that situation. Everyone has a choice. So when it comes to the part of shamans and you are going for treatment, just think in your own mind that when you connect and feel the energy of a shaman, and you will feel it, I have it all the time, of course, because we are pushing that energy out. When you come to that point of feeling, separate it in your mind. Try not to be attracted to the shaman if that's what you're not there for. And if you are attracted to the shaman, use it as a separate thought. Open your mouth, ask the question, but if the shaman says no, because he is connected with someone, he means no. It doesn't mean that he dislikes you and he portrayed himself as somebody before, but that's the whole point. He's there to help you. But there is nothing worse than gossip. And it's unfair to shamans to be labelled that way. We are still human and we still think of the process, but in my mind I eliminate it straight away. Unfortunately for people perhaps on the receiving end of me now, I won't tolerate it, so I say no straight away. But if it's someone you like, does it matter? So don't accuse. Think before you open this what you say to other people. And also the shaman has to think carefully of the person that's in front of them. I don't want to lose anyone that I connect with in life, and it's happened in past marriage, and I wish it never did. That I wish they could have seen past it and believed that you can't be responsible for someone else's actions. I wish they could have seen that. But also, I wished other people could not blatantly accuse you of something that you haven't done, or they read something wrong. Just take that extra time. That's all I'm going to say on this one. It's taken 15 minutes. I think if you can just be fair when you go into a situation that a shaman has a difficult job to take on everybody else's emotions. And I'm sure other shamans will agree with me, that who have seen me, that when I've worked with people, I actually go away to purge. I purge in front of them, in front of the clients, purely because I have no choice. I have to expel what I've just taken from them. It takes a lot from us. So for us to be emotionally abused by a client, don't get me wrong, listen to what I say, emotionally abused, that doesn't work on me, okay? But we can get emotionally abused. Other shamans take it in different ways. I don't. It's clear cut. I just rather somebody say yes, no, and it's done. I was told that I'm emotionless. I have no emotion. I do have emotion, but I only use it in the reasons of love on a personal level. I will not engage in emotion with a client because it's we see it as nonsense. They see it as their life, so we get rid of their nonsense so that they can live better. This is my bedroom, by the way, on board a boat. I thought I'd take it in here tonight to feel a bit more comfortable. Take care. And I will say it, love to everyone. It doesn't mean I love you and I want to climb in your bed. Okay? Okay, good night.